The Passover Haggadah, its complex structure and obscure origins, have perplexed scholars for centuries. Even the identity of its author has long been a mystery. Until now. Presented by Seder Educational Media, Mysteries of the Haggadah. This episode, Hidden Sacred Numbers, the 72-part name. According to ancient Jewish tradition, when God created the universe, he peered into the Torah and built the heavens and earth from the Torah's very letters. The Torah itself, meanwhile, was constructed from the infinite and unfathomable recombination of God's own holy names. Wishing to emulate his creator, the Passover Haggadah's final composer arranged his small creation in the image of the Torah and the universe itself. He did this by gathering building blocks from biblical verses and the words of our sages and arranging them in forms that reflect mystical traditions and sacred names of God, following a sophisticated plan. That may come as a surprise to many Passover Seder participants. At first blush, the Haggadah's structure seems jumbled. The purpose of its sections and the reason for their arrangement isn't exactly obvious. But there is order in this apparent chaos. At the highest level, we find that the Maggid section of the Haggadah is organized in a pattern called a chiasm. That means it's symmetrical, with the first part corresponding to the last part, the second part to the second to last, and so on. This may be difficult to appreciate because the corresponding sections often differ greatly in length. But, for example, the introductory section of Avadim Hayinu corresponds to the famous song near the end of Maggid, Dayenu. At the very center of the chiasm are two verses from Sefer Bereshit, the book of Genesis. These two verses are the prophecy transmitted to our patriarch Abraham Avinu, foretelling the future enslavement and redemption of his descendants. God told Abraham, "Know with certainty that your offspring will be strangers in a land that is not their own, and they will enslave and oppress them for 400 years. V'gam et hagoy asher yavodu dan anochi, and also the nation they serve I will judge." Fascinatingly, a mystical tradition concerning these verses determines one of the hidden organizing principles of the Haggadah. That tradition relies on the ancient system called gematria to connect words and ideas through the numeric value of Hebrew letters. In brief, each of the 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet has a numeric value, as shown here. So, for example, the word chai, life, has the value of 18, 8 plus 10. The word mata, staff, has the value of 54, 40 plus 9 plus 5. And the word chesed, kindness, has the value of 72, 8 plus 60 plus 4. The tradition about the verses in Genesis focuses on the word dan, judge. God promised Abraham that, at the least, he would redeem the nation of Israel using two letters, Daled and Nun. However, the tradition continues, if the nation repented, God promised to redeem them with a full 72 letters. The letters Daled and Nun correspond to the numbers 4 and 50. And these are compared to the number 72. To understand what this means, we need to explore the formula for God's mystical 72-part name. The 72-part divine name is described in various Kabbalistic texts. It is also mentioned in the Mishnah, the ancient compilation of Jewish oral law, and it was explained by the famous medieval commentator Rashi. God's 72-part name is derived from 3 consecutive 72-letter verses in Shmot, the book of Exodus. Thus, it actually consists of 72 3-letter names, and each of these 3-letter names is also numbered from 1 to 72. The entirety of the name's 72 parts is associated with chesed, kindness, and with open revelation of the divine presence. But the 4th and 50th names indicate something else. The 50th name consists of the 3 letters Daled, Yud, and Nun, or Din, judgment, while the 4th name is Ayin Lamed Mem, Alam, which connotes hiddenness and concealment. Therefore, the tradition tells us, God promised Abraham that if his ancestors did not repent, he would redeem them with strict judgment, in a hidden way, concealed behind natural events. But if they repented, he would bring them out with kindness and with open miracles. And this is what ultimately happened during the Egyptian Exodus, culminating with the splitting of the Red Sea. The numbers 50 and especially 4 are well-known themes of the Haggadah. For example, the 4 cups of wine, the 4 questions, and the 4 sons. but also the 50 plagues brought upon the Egyptians at the Red Sea. The author of the Haggadah made another connection between 50 and 4 and the number 72. Because 72 equals 18 times 4, and 54 equals 18 times 3, the number 54 can also be understood as an incomplete portion of 72. And while 50 and 4 are the open themes of the Haggadah, 72, 54, and other multiples of 18 are one of its hidden organizing principles. For example, the opening passage of Avadim Hayinu has exactly 54 words. The central passage surrounding the verses in Genesis contains 72 words, and the song Dayenu contains 144 words, or 2 times 72. And these are not the only key passages in the Haggadah that contain exactly 54, 72, or 144 words. The song Dayenu also makes other references to this mystical tradition. The word Dayenu itself, meaning it would have been enough for us, includes and rearranges the 50th name, the name associated with strict justice. Meanwhile, the introductory line of Dayenu reorders and transforms the 4th name, turning it from negative to positive. That line reads, Kama ma'alot tovot lamakom aleinu. How many great elevations has the Omnipresent bestowed upon us? It therefore uses the 3 letters Mem, Ayin, and Lamed, the 4th name among the 72, to denote loftiness and elevation rather than hiddenness and concealment. These are just a few of the many references to God's holy names hidden in Dayenu and throughout the Haggadah. So it's no coincidence that the Haggadah's final composer also used the number 54 to conceal his own name within the Haggadah's text. But more about that in another episode. Please show your support by clicking subscribe and visit us at PesachHaggadah.org.